You guys know what I used to do when I was a kid? I used to play Disney Princess video games on Super Nintendo. I used to play every classic video game based off of Disney's most successful franchises like The Lion King, Toy Story, Beauty and the Beast. And one of my all-time favorite video games to try to beat was always Beauty and the Beast because of just how challenging the game was. The game was released in July of 1994, 3 years after the movie had dropped in, I think, November of 1991. November 22nd of 1991, the movie came out. And I remember how proud Howard Ashman was as the director and the writer of this one to have this one released. I believe he actually passed away a couple of weeks after the movie had premiered. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he actually passed away a couple of weeks after the movie premiered. But I remember how proud he was of the movie's success that it would go on to achieve because of how it would resonate with so many wonderful people. And I think that Descendants of Zombies is well on its way to doing the exact same thing because of how much you guys have trusted in it and how much you believed in it, that there's nothing wrong with. I've never wanted to take that away from anybody, the chances of something special happening for Descendants of Zombies and for us all to be a part of it and to really be a part of history, because that's what we're becoming a part of, is history. And that's what makes this so beautiful, the chance to experience it with all of you. Because I never imagined that I would go on to create over 1,000 videos about Descendants of Zombies that would be so well received and go on to achieve so much recognition and rarity, both recognition and rarity, which is very important for a content creator who revolves he or she's content around Descendants of Zombies to have to do. They not only have to create videos about Descendants of Zombies, they have to relate to you. They have to understand where you're coming from, who your favorite characters are, what they're all about, what their story details. Because no matter who we talk about on this show, from Kylie to Malia, they all have stories. And they just want their story, not the story of themselves and Kylie together and all the moments they share, but their story to be seen and heard by more people than ever before. While the moments they've shared together, like Kylie and Malia's friendship, are very beautiful and should be supported, they just want their stories to be seen and heard by far more people than they ever imagined possible, and that's what the platform is really all about. The platform has always been about creating something special for them and giving something special back to them. And I think that together we have done that. We have made more people believers in this franchise. More people have wanted to take a chance on who and what they believe, accomplish their goals and their dreams. And that's what's made this such a beautiful and wonderful experience for me, is having the chance to meet all of you and see you realize your dreams and push you forward into the future, which I know can sometimes be very scary because we don't know what the future has in store. All of us don't know what the future has in store. God knows that I don't know what my future has in store or where I'm going. But I do know that you guys will always and forever have a very special place in my heart for how much you've meant to me and how much you've meant to this YouTube channel. The one thing that nobody will ever be able to take away from me is this emotional connection I've had to the character stories, the characters themselves, and most of all with all of you. Because undeniably, the one thing you've noticed about me is obviously I have a very emotional connection with every fan of Descendants of Zombies because you are what's made this so special for me. And I've never, ever, I don't ever want any of you to ever forget that. Because this YouTube channel started with 5 subscribers a year and a half ago. 5 subscribers, I kid you not. And I didn't know if I was coming or going. And then from out of nowhere, everybody started subscribing, saying, hey, this guy's really cool. He's really down to earth. He's the coolest YouTube content creator I've ever seen in my life. I want to buy his t-shirt. Everybody was so cool. Actually, I don't even have a t-shirt for you guys to buy. I don't know if they'll ever become available off a website that I'll probably launch 20 years from now, called JonathanClarke.com, when I become everybody's favorite Descendants character, which I'm sure all of you would buy out of love and support for me. One can only hope. Because I do know you guys do have your favorites, and I got a lot to contend with. Malachi Barton, of course, Cameron Boyce, who will always be one of your diehard favorites. I got a lot to contend with, but the one thing I've known about all of you is once you win your hearts and you win the appreciation of every fan of Descendants of Zombies, there's nothing that you can't feel like you can't do. There's nothing that you really can't do once you've won the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies. You guys have pushed me forward, given me so much incentive to create all this wonderful content, and I can never seem to say thank you enough. Because of you, this YouTube channel has been seen and heard by more people than ever before. My videos have gone on to resonate with far more people than I ever imagined possible and have achieved so much recognition. And the views speak for themselves, with hundreds of views for every video. Just last night, I reviewed the Perfect Princess music video in a 15-minute long video, and I got almost 200 views in less than 1 hour. I uploaded that video in less than 1 hour. It got over 200 views. And that's incredible. I think I was one of the only guys to review the Perfect Princess music video within the first few hours of its release. I think there was one other guy on YouTube who tried to review it, and his video was ridiculous because he wasn't really showing the appreciation for the franchise that it deserved to have. I gotta admit to you, there are a lot of people out there who don't have that same appreciation for Descendants of Zombies. I think that their videos sometimes are very inappropriate. I think that what they need to do is they need to relate to you more, and they have to tell you stories about how much of a fan they were of Belle, how much of a fan they were of Aurora, because their names were beautiful, their dresses were amazing, the story behind the characters had so much potential. And I think that back in the 50s, when you saw stories like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty brought to life for the first time ever, you couldn't help but appreciate it. And I think that that's what's lacking in these reviews of Descendants of Zombies is the appreciation for the characters and their stories and all of you, where they come from, what they're all about, how they feel misunderstood, what they love about life, what they don't so much love about life. You have to take all that into consideration before you ever push record. You got to know that there's somebody out there in this really big galaxy of Descendants of Zombies fans, because it's full of Descendants of Zombies fans, precisely 10.5 million people on social media platforms, all social media platforms, and over 600,000 on YouTube alone. So because there are over 600,000 on this YouTube, I think that that's what shows an appreciation for how much you guys have resonated with these stories, how much you've always wanted to be a part of them, and I felt more than honored to have the chance to bring them to life. This is a guy pretty much who just throws on the first shirt that he sees in the morning, throws on the first pair of jeans that he sees, jumps on his podcast, probably doesn't look the best, probably looks like he didn't sleep a wink last night, but the thing is, that's what I've loved about bringing these videos to life, is that you never know quite what to expect. You never know what I'm going to say, or what I may have seen just last night that I'm so excited to share with you guys, because I may have seen the Perfect Princess music video less than 24 hours ago for argument's sake, and I can't wait to jump on here to tell you about it. Because with me, what you see is what you always get. And I think that's what's made these videos so special. With me, what you see is what you always get. My passion for video games, my love for Disney princesses, my love for Disney characters, and all things related to it. Because you can just talk about Cinderella, but just talking about Cinderella doesn't really tell people that much about you and how much you love Cinderella. But if you have like all this Cinderella merchandise as part of your YouTube backdrop, that can tell people a lot about you and who you are and how much you appreciate her. I've seen so many people so proud to show their Descendants of Zombies merch because it's so beautiful and it's so wonderful. One of my favorite pieces of Descendants merch, this was released some time ago, but it was a blank journal filled with hundreds of pages where you could write your own story, and the pages were trimmed with gold. I think Sophia Carson was showing it in a Descendants 2 video some time ago. But one of my favorite pieces of merch was always that, because Descendants was offering you the opportunity to write your own story, to make journal entries every day, teaching you how to learn and grow. That's what the basis of this merch consisted of, was teaching you how to learn and grow and having a greater appreciation for life. And what it means by having a greater appreciation for life is to value friendships, to appreciate time, because you never seem to know how much time you have. And often the question resonates with us, what we do with more time if we had it. Will we go back in time just to tell more people how much we love them and how much we've appreciated them more often than enough? Will we go back in time to fix some of our mistakes? Because Lord knows, we all know that we're far from perfect, but just because we're far from perfect doesn't mean that we don't deserve an equal opportunity to outshine everybody and, really showcase our passions and achieve our dreams. I think that that's what Descendants of Zombies has always been about. That's the one thing that's been consistent about these franchises, is that both Descendants of Zombies has encouraged us to fulfill our dreams and our passions, continue to follow them. And I think more people need to encourage that and understand where fans of Descendants of Zombies are coming from and how Descendants of Zombies has obviously made them feel, because we've taken away a great deal from these events, from these moments we've experienced together, and what we created, because I never imagined this YouTube channel would have went on to become so revered and so recognized and so well respected for the videos that are recorded here. So many people love this YouTube channel with all their heart. That's the one thing I've noticed, is that for some reason everybody loves this YouTube channel. People can't wait to hit the like button or can't wait to subscribe here. I've always believed it has something to do with my voice and how I've been able to tell these stories, because I think that you've got to have a voice for this franchise, and most of all, you've got to have heart. You can have the most dedicated radio voice behind a microphone, But if you don't have heart for whatever you're talking about, for whatever niche, for whatever circumstances you're talking about, whatever you're talking about, if you don't have heart for what you believe in and believe in it just as much as what your audience does, there's really no point of you ever pushing record. And I've always had that same appreciation for the strength, for the power, for the heart, for the dedication of all your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, and that's what I proudly put on display in every video. With me, what you see is what you get, and I've really had the time of my life because I can remember watching Beauty and the Beast for the first time ever. I can remember watching the premiere of Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and loving it so much. I cried buckets when I saw the opening scene of Beauty and the Beast, and the final scene of Beauty and the Beast I cried just as much because of the emotion packed behind it, how Belle thought she was going to lose the Beast and the connection they had, and then of course he came back to life as Prince Charming. It was a beautiful, beautiful story by the time the last pebble fell off the rose, and I think that no matter who we are, we all have a favorite Disney princess. I don't care who you are. You do have a favorite Disney princess somewhere out there. There's somebody who loves Disney princesses, who probably have their room plastered with Disney princess posters and all this merch. And I think that is really cool, man. When you can feel so proud to be passionate about whatever it is you're passionate about, because there have been so many different versions of these stories told over time, but what we always find ourselves returning to are the original stories that were first told by Disney back in the late 1950s, in the early 1990s, when Disney was really coming into its Renaissance era, which I had the chance to be a part of, and I will never ever forget having a chance to be a part of such an incredible era, because that was when stories like Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, Disney's versions of these stories, were often retold, redistributed, and remastered, and it was just so beautiful. I believe the original VHS cassette tape from Beauty and the Beast is worth over $10,000 to $15,000, somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000. It might be worth 12, but if you have one that's never been opened, of course you have to still have the cellophane on it. All the original packaging have to be included with it. I think it's worth over $10,000, and the video game is worth just as much. Maybe not as much, but just as much. And I remember when they released all this merch years ago, it was fantastic. And that's what puts me in mind of all this Descendants of Zombies merch that's coming out now, because many of you are probably wondering about the Descendants of Zombies merch and what's happening with it. Mattel is significantly going to launch an update for these dolls. By the time Wicked Wonderland comes out, if they aren't already out, I don't know, because I don't go to the toy store that often. When I was probably 15 years old, I was at the toy store every week, so I would know more about it than what I do now. But I do know Mattel because I've had a relationship with them over the years. Mattel is working diligently to put out more dolls than ever before for you to collect. So you guys do have something to be really excited about. I've known many people who have worked with Mattel for years. I've had a good working relationship with them. So you guys have a lot to be excited about. And you also have a lot to be excited about. I'm going to let you in a little something. Disney is coming out with packs for Descendants of Zombies characters, not right away, but in due time. They're developing character packs for Fortnite for your favorite Descendants of Zombies characters, which will include Freya Sky. So that's going to be really, really cool. There's no official announcement, but I'm just going to let you in on a little behind-the-scenes facts about what's happening for the merch line and the video game production. We are producing things for Fortnite, and we're producing things for Mattel to look ahead to. So I will have more on that when it becomes available, but if you didn't hear it here first, then it's not happening for Descendants of Zombies, because I seem to know everything in the eyes of a lot of fans, and you can trust in me and everything that I believe in for Descendants of Zombies' future, because there is going to be one, and we are all going to be a part of it, and I am so excited to be a part of it and experience it with all of you. I've loved the chance to sit down in front of this microphone every morning over a cup of tea and a couple of slices of toast, which is actually what I do. I'm pretty much a guy who loves talking about Disney, and with me what you see is what you get, and every morning over a cup of tea I love having these conversations about Descendants of Zombies. They're obviously something I've looked forward to for quite some time, and I love being a part of them with all of you. And to be honest with you guys, I would love for Disney to kind of re-release all these video games based off their most successful franchises, like Hercules, which I'll talk about tonight because I was a huge fan of playing the video game Hercules on the original PlayStation. PlayStation was first released back in 1994, and I remember when Hercules' video game was released in the fall of 1997. It was a very difficult video game to find. I did find it, I did play it, and I loved it. And I loved every video game that I played, from Toy Story back on the original Super Nintendo to Aladdin to A Bug's Life. I loved them all, and Beauty and the Beast was one of my all-time favorites for just how challenging the game was. And you're probably saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, man, keep talking. I love your YouTube channel. I'm hitting your subscribe button because you love Descendants of Zombies just as much as what we do. If you are somebody who feels that way, thank you so much for always and forever choosing this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, because it's always been my honor to bring so many wonderful videos to life and such relatable content for so many wonderful people, which is something you have deserved for far long enough now, and it's about time somebody gave that to you. So thank you so much for always and forever having believed in this YouTube channel, having a very special place in your heart for your favorite characters and all these moments that led you to becoming a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because it's forever and always been my honor to create all these wonderful videos. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this video, probably make my way to Booster Juice, hope somebody's going to subscribe, come home really depressed, the guy's name who owns Booster Juice is never really Booster, oh my god, and hope somebody has hit my subscribe button and watched it from beginning to end. Thank you so much for having loved this YouTube channel, and over frozen yogurt this morning, I will wonder how many people are going to subscribe. So let's set a record, let's make history, let's continue to make history with Descendants of Zombies and give more people something to believe in than ever before. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, and for always having watched these videos.